I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, August the 2nd, brought to you in part by Volvulus Vision. Clostridial vaccines that spur cattle forward and never backward, give cattle a strong protection against clostridial diseases with fewer reactions and less stress with the Spur adjuvant. For more information, go to powered by Spur, separated by hyphens.com. Packers Playbook, and I'm really excited to give this to you guys. This is a bit that was put in a cattle report released by Ag Center, online news there, and supposedly it was pulled from an unnamed source that said that it came directly from Packer procurement, from one of the big four packers that shares its name with a famous prize fighter. So this is the same stuff that I've been sharing to you guys and preaching, both here on the Feeder Flash and in my presentations whenever you guys come and see me at the several places that I speak every year. But there's no doubt that it's truth. Now, whether or not it came directly from, like I said, one of the major packers, I don't know. But it came from somewhere, and I've never seen this stuff actually written out. I mean, I know that it happens, but I've never seen it written out. And I think it will give you a good perspective of what I call the Packer mentality, guys. This is supposedly sent out to country buyers from top procurement and one of your big four packers there. And it has to do with the changes in buying instructions since we've moved to a late Friday trade here of late all of a sudden. It says, with the base price, 1, 2, or 3 over is no big deal. As is over, that's nothing. So don't worry about that if you need to give over for that. Told you guys before, they buy most of the plainer cattle in the Texas Panhandle. A lot of the Mexican origin cattle at least $1 over what the base price is or what the market is. But well, they said the way you do that and the whole goal is to find the poorest cattle for sale and to buy them live FOB so that they will for sure go into your mandatory price reporting average. And so once you get the poorest cattle in there and buy them live FOB, then if you need to buy more cattle, either at 0 or base price, or 1 or 2 or 3 over, no big deal. The second line on here says, if no more cattle are available to purchase at the base price, then do not raise the FOB price. We've seen that before. Once we get cattle starting to trade and we get the market established, they will not raise the base price. So it says, do not, underline and capitalize, do not raise the FOB price. Seek one of the following purchase formats. 1, buy at a delivered price, because that doesn't go into the weighted average for your live sales. And it mostly gets buried and very little reporting done if you buy those cattle at delivered prices. Number 2, buy them a negotiated grid, which I tell you guys, we're getting more and more cattle turned in all the time on negotiated grid, but there's no negotiation to it. It's just whatever the base cash price is on the lowest quality cattle that are available for sale. And once you buy those negotiated grid, do not raise the base price for the negotiated grid price. We'll just adjust the grid if we need to give them a little bit more for that. So that's the way they get away with that without affecting their low base price, poorest quality, weighted average price that sets the base price for everything. And then third on the list of different purchase formats, buy them with kickers or discounts, which immediately kicks them into the formula pricing. That gets buried. It doesn't have any say on the base price. Nobody can really tell what's going on, and that's the way that they abuse mandatory price reporting that everybody has thought was great ever since the inception in the year 2000. And then on the third part of this little list of things that they sent out here, it's more about the Packer mentality. It says you have to continue to drive these messages to the sellers, to your customers, the ones that you're buying fat cattle from. Number one, but beef demand is poor. It's poor. They're telling these producers beef demand is poor. It's poorer than what you're hearing in ag media. It's much worse than what people are saying. It just hasn't hit yet. We know everything because behind that steel door in that building that has no windows in it, we're all knowing back there. Another listed part on that was management is ordering us to reduce slaughter. Yeah, right. I told you guys, that's what you have to do when you have a packing plant, is you have to process beef because you're selling it out front and you're selling it just as fast as you can produce it. But they are to tell their producers that management is ordering them to reduce slaughter. And so that puts a fear into your producer all of a sudden. That's the whole Packer mentality that I talk about all the time, guys. The third point on that is that exports are on decline. And they say, don't pay any attention to the reports that are released. They don't really know. We know what's going on, and I'm going to give you some inside information here that exports are on decline. So that just infiltrates more fear into the producer. And then the fourth point on the number 3 was is that recession is coming. And we're right on the cusp of a recession, and you better go ahead and get these cattle sold. The rug's coming out from under us just any minute. But this is exactly what I've been telling you guys all about. Now, who put this together? I don't know. I can say that some of the language in there speaks like cattle procurement would speak. They call everything a buy. It's not a negotiation, or it's not a purchase. Everything is a buy, and that's kind of the way they do it. If this was really obtained by Ag Center there for the cattle report, and it's agcenter.com. I got to give them credit on there. You can go on there. It's free. agcenter.com. Pull up the cattle report, and among all the other markets in there that they give, this is down towards the bottom and highlighted in green. But says that it was from an unnamed source and was confidential. But they published it. I received this from several different contacts from all over the country. They noticed it, and they're going to get to the bottom of it. And if indeed this did come from one of your major packers and sent, then it will be forwarded on to what's left of the Packers and Stockyards Administration. We got that notice from the White House that they're going to start trying to do more about this unfair trade advantage here that the Packers have and different things. We'll see if anything comes of it, but I thought it was very kind of curious that it come out like that, and that it was so honest in the crookedness of your major Packers, guys. But get on there and check that out if you're curious about it. And I thought it was hilarious when it come out, and thought it was fantastic. And I want to blow it up as big as we can blow it up, guys. Did hear some word that last week heat deaths in the northern plains and parts of Nebraska were much worse than what we had thought. A lot of the feedlot guys that I know in that part of the country, and they're being conservative, they're thinking sure 20 to 25,000 head were lost there in that heat dome, because there was some periods in there where they had high heat index, high humidity, and no wind, and cattle cannot survive in that. And we told you before, like last year when we lost a lot of cattle in the southern plains feedlots, that the temperature down there on the floor in those feedlots is much higher than what the air temperature is, and significant losses. That's just making our tight supplies even tighter if possible. Got a big sale at Callaway Livestock Center, Callaway Cow Sale. Another special this Thursday night at 6 o'clock on DV Auction. You know how dry it's been there. I did see that they looked like they were going to be getting some big storms there on Tuesday night, and hopefully that gives them some help there, but it's not going to help the ones that are needing to sell already. But they're figuring over 1,000 head for that special cow sale. Got over 200 top quality bred heifers there. Got over 200 cow-calf pairs if you're interested in that, and going to have at least 600 fall calving cows. And they've got good cattle in that part of the country, guys. They just need to get out of there. They need to get to greener pastures and change the address on them. If you guys tuned in to the last sale, which turned out to be pretty good for being a fire sale, get on to dvauction.com this Thursday at 6 o'clock in the p.m. and check out that special cow sale at Kingdom City, Missouri at Callaway Livestock Center. Talked to my buddy Ellison Carter, big shipper down there in North Texas or North Central Texas, I should say. His pens are just west of Weatherford, Texas there. And you guys think, well, there's no cattle I can buy. Nothing looks like it's going to work. Ellison said that they're moving a lot of calves out of those Central and North Texas sales right now. His buyers are getting a lot of them put together. Most of the calves are really good in quality. Texas #1's good enough to go anywhere, and that he thinks they're seeing the fall run right now because it has been dry in that part of the country for them, and those producers are pulling those calves and needing to get them moved. They're just hoping to hold on to their cows because it's not quite as bad as last year's drought, but it's getting kind of high in remembrance of last year's drought. But it is getting pretty dry. They're moving a lot of calves right now, and there's a lot of condition on these calves, meaning that a lot of them have been weaned already, been kicked off because the cows just couldn't support them anymore. But steers and bulls here, these were loads that were recently shipped there, and you can order them. These are on delivered prices, guys, to the Texas Panhandle, Southwest Kansas, Western Oklahoma, places that order calves like that, but you can order some too. Load weight 285 on the average at 277, 350 pound average on some steers and bulls at 252, load at 395, bring 248 or cost 248 delivered, 405 at 247, 465 at 243, 515 at 237, 530 on the average at 236 delivered, 595 pounds delivered steers and bulls at 231, quality that you would like, and 605 pound yearlings at 236. Now those sound pretty reasonable. If you guys are half a cowboy, can keep those alive and get on with them, I tell you what, you'd be way ahead of the game. How about the heifers? And all the heifers are of top quality too. Load average 320 at 248, 380 pounds at 246, 415 pounds 232 delivered on the heifers, 450 pound heifers at 226, 505 pounders at 220, 535 at 218, and 650 pound yearling heifers, good quality, mostly black, at 213. If you're interested in getting some cattle like that delivered to you, get a hold of Ellison Carter. You can get his contact information at ellisoncartercattle.com. Let's talk about your board. For Tuesday, August live cattle futures were up $1.45. We weren't expecting to get support on the board. 179.50. October was up 230 at 181.82. Your back months were all up 50 cents to $2.22. Our technical analysts are saying that we are seeing technical support, so maybe it will continue this week and we can get a fire built under this thing again. August feeder cattle up big, up 287 with corn down for the second day in a row, 248.47. September up 270 on feeder cattle at 251.90 based on an 800 pound steer, guys. Back months were all up huge, up $1.65 to up 237 on your back months of feeder cattle futures. December new crop corn down 5 3/4 cents after being down big on Monday, but settling regular trading on Tuesday at 507 1/4. November new crop beans up 9.5 at 13.41 1/4. Kansas City hard red winter wheat for September down 8 1/4 cent at 8.04 1/2. Your fat cattle trade, of course, we haven't established anything this early in the week. We've seen just a little bit of dribble. Iowa sold a load of fat cattle there on a direct basis at 295 dressed. Nebraska sold a load at 294 dressed, but that's it. Haven't established anything. Didn't see anything in the Southern Plains, of course. But we did have a brick and mortar fat cattle auction. Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota. They had 800 head in overnight, 2,200 head in altogether. The drug-free offering was not well tested. Didn't hardly have any completely drug-free program cattle. The conventional cattle, just cattle, the bulk of them sell from 180 to 184.50, with a few groups up to 185 1/2. Now this would be steady to a buck lower on the conventional bulk. But the biggest part of the offering there at Stockman's Livestock is always non-implanted, and they did have several non-implanted cattle. The bulk of those sell from 184 to 193, and that was steady to a buck higher. So you could call it unevenly steady there, but pretty active market there at Stockman's Livestock fat cattle sale in Yankton, South Dakota. How about box beef cutout values? They were up, and we have found a bottom. We found it last week. At the end of last week, we found the bottom on box beef cutout values. They're going to start getting higher. Going to give some relief to the packers. Choice cuts up $4.32 at 306.10. Selects up $1.87 at 279.60. Your slaughter running right on par there at 248,000 through the first 2 days of the week. 1,000 more than last week, 1,000 more than the same week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. MLS Tubs, been around forever. You guys have used them. They have all kinds of tubs for all kinds of needs. Just check them out. Go to one of your local spots there that handles MLS Tubs. I'm going to give you one that we're going to feature in August here on our August Distributor Spotlight. It's going to be Hometown Animal Health in Memphis, Missouri. So if you guys are in that part up there in northeast Missouri, go to Hometown Animal Health and go and check out their MLS Tubs. If you want more information or how to order some, go to MLSTubs.com. Talk about your feeder cattle markets, your real-time index on DV auction late in the day on Tuesday, based on an 800-pound cash steer up through your middle 12 states. 245.74, up again. Just keeps creeping higher. It was up another 32 cents. I didn't think it could keep doing that, but it just does. Just unbelievable demand for these cash yearling feeders, and we're starting to run towards the back end of them, guys. We've moved almost all your Flint Hill cattle, even in the Flint Hill sales and around, and we're going to run short of these true yearling grass steers and heifers here pretty darn quick. Don't forget though, if you're looking for some cattle, here today on Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Time in the early evening there, Elite Livestock Sales. That's my buddies that used to be at Montgomery Stockyards. They're having their 43rd annual Producers Feeder Calf Sale. And they have got 60 loads of some of the fanciest weaned calves that you've ever seen. They've all had health protocol on them. They've had all the shots. They're long time weaned. 60 loads of them. Now some of them are going to be lighter, and they'll be ready to go and turn out on the grass that you've still got left for late season stockers. Some of them are going to be heavier and going to need to go right on to feed. But you got to look at the quality on them at Elite Livestock Sales on dvauction.com. You can go in there earlier in the day and look at the videos on them. They got the videos posted, but the sale will start, and it's going to be online only. Unless for those guys that are there, a few guys that are on site, but mostly online only on dvauction.com, 6 o'clock Central. Talk about your big sales on Tuesday. Ozarks Regional Stockyard, West Plains, Missouri, 2,400 head through the ring. another 200 head in their in-house video. Cattle through the ring, the feeders are steady. Calves are steady to $5 higher, with most of the gain on the heifer calves. Unbelievable to me with these temperatures in this time of the year. I mean, we're in the dog days of summer, that the calves are getting higher every week, but they are. You got to have them to make the big feeders, guys, and guys are wanting to reload because they've made money on the cattle that they had turned out earlier in the year. But really good calf sale there at Ozarks Regional at West Plains, Missouri. And let's talk about your next big sale, and it's your National Beef Wire Stick-Out Sale of the day. Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma had about 1,900 feeders, then had some other cows to round out their offering. But look at this automated market report, and pretty well tested throughout there. I told you on our last visit that they were going to have a lot of lighter stockers, yearling type stockers to turn out, and they were there, and they sold on fire, guys. How about 456 head of 6-weight steers, average 614 pounds, with a weighted average price of $270.30. 295 head of 7-weight steers, average $743, with a weighted average price of $250.54. And 175 head of 8-weight steers in Beaver, Oklahoma, they averaged $877 with an average price of $237.57. Now look at some heifers. How about 202 head of 5-weight heifers, average $562, weighted average price $263.60. 167 head of 6-weight heifers, average $628, weighted average price $245.37. And 168 head of 7-weight heifers, average $746, $231.88. Eastern edge of the Oklahoma Panhandle at Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. Some other sales around. How about Fredonia Livestock Auction? My buddy Brad Hahn there, he had a good sale, including these 4 loads of 9-weight grass steers there, and they bring from 237 to 241. Pretty impressive there, guys. How about Turlock Livestock Auction Yard way out west in Turlock, California? They sell them high out there too. 80 head, 682-pound steers bring 271 at Turlock Auction Yard. Individual quote. How about Lolly Brothers Livestock Market in Macon, Missouri? Longtime DV auction broadcaster there. I actually got a notice from the consignor that sold the cattle there, and he was so tickled. It was Randy Miller of Galaxy Beef. He sold 55 fancy preg-out heifers. They average 942 pounds and bring $2.30 a pound, like $2,166. And he said he was just hopeful that in a few months the heifers that he had that indeed were bred would bring that kind of money. But he was tickled to death, and congratulations to him, and good job Lolly Brothers Livestock Market in Macon. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday in your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day come from my old buddy Mark Service there, former owner and manager of St. Joe Stockyards, who now consigns cattle to Holton, Kansas. Holton Livestock Exchange sells the Clare steers, 60 head of them, weighed 814 pounds, bring $258.75. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.